young women, young men of color, we add our voices to the voices of your ancestors who speak to you over ancient seas and across impossible mountaintops. Come up from the gloom of national neglect. You have already been paid for. Come out of the shadow of irrational prejudices. You owe no racial debt to history. The blood of our bodies and the prayers of our souls have bought for you a future without shame, bright beyond the telling of it. You are the best we have. You are all we have. You are what we have become. It is time to remember.
No, I don't.
Do you know what Kwanzaa is?
Yes, it's Christmas.
It's about love.
African Christmas, you know.
I don't really know nothing about Kwanzaa.
Do you know what Kwanzaa is?
No, I don't.
I really never heard nothing about it.
I don't know what Kwanzaa is neither.
Kwanzaa is when the black people tries to pull together to do everything for themselves.
The celebration of black people.
It's unity amongst the black people.
7-day holiday.
I think it's a Jewish holiday or something like that.
I know all the 7 days of. I don't know all the 7 days, but I know some of the days. What you celebrate with 7 candles.
7 candy that you have to light.
3 green, 3 black, 1 red, I think.
I just want to know. What is it?
It's a holiday over Africa.
So what is Kwanzaa? Educate me.
Today we're going to talk about an African celebration that is celebrated all over the African world. That African holiday that we're talking about is Kwanzaa. Now, what significance does Kwanzaa have to African people born here in America?
There are days, this is one of them, when you wonder what your role is in this country and what your future is in it.
They took the chains off of us physically, but mentally, they there all day. They there all day.
I don't know hardly anything about my culture. You can ask me and I could barely tell you because I really don't know because they didn't teach me much. They didn't teach my friends much.
I don't know, yo.
When you ask a young person today who they are, they'll tell you they don't know. I see this every day. I've been teaching for the last 4 years, and I see these things, and they wonder why a young person would actually pick the white dowel over the black dowel in the dowel test.
A Girl Like Me was done by Kiri Davis. At the time she did the film, she was only 14 years old. And what Kiri did so brilliantly, she replicated Kenneth Clark and Mamie Clark's experiments in the early 1950s, showing the damage of racism.
When I was in middle school, we were studying the Brown versus Board of Education desegregation case, and my teacher mentioned something about this doll test, where black children preferred a white doll. And I always kind of wondered, like, what if we were to do that experiment again? Like, have we really progressed that much in over 50 years?
Can you show me the doll that you like best or that you'd like to play with? This one. This one. I like that one.
Show me.
This one. That one?
It basically helped me just realize what's being valued today. And even though these children are 4 and 5 years old, they still know what America values. And when it comes down to it, they know it's not them.
And can you show me the doll that looks bad? And can you show me the doll that is the nice doll? And why is that the nice doll?
It's a cultural crisis. And that's why I call it a cultural crisis more than an identity crisis. Because black people know that's not them. They know that.
I've dealt with young people who don't know how great they are. They don't know that they're greatness because they are taught that there's somebody else. And when they do see images of themselves on television or in magazines, it's always in a degrading way or a disrespectful way or a dumbed down way.
And that's the big problem. You see bad images repetitiously, but I don't think you see enough good images repetitiously.
And a lot of times we get confused because we are so bombarded with what the media thinks is black.
They show us as ignorant, disrespectful.
You don't see the people helping the community. You don't see us touring colleges to better ourselves.
And so we are fighting all the time about how to begin to change fundamental images and belief systems.
We don't have a sense of cultural background. Like, it's not taught to us.
Get your lessons. That's what my moms kept stressing. I tried to pay attention, but their classes weren't interesting. They seem to only glorify the Europeans, claiming Africans with only 3/5 of human beings. They schools can't teach us.
When I wrote this song, it was really me capturing my enthusiasm in that moment, you know, about all the history that I had never heard of, you know what I mean? I had never heard of Malcolm X and nothing like that.
The saddest thing is that we still have to struggle and fight to justify having African history and African American history be taught in the schools, in the public schools.
School teaches you about history and culture, but our school system teaches us mainly about the history and culture of Europe.
And when you don't have any sense of your own contextualization, you have very little idea of how to situate yourself.
Education needs to be stepped up more. Some things need to be less emphasized, and some new things need to be brought out into the open a little bit more. And because, you know, learning about, you know, Patrick Henry and John Adams and shit like that, it's cool, but, you know, it's, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying?
We should learn more about our backgrounds, and we should, like, look more into our heritage and our ancestors. In the school system today, they doesn't really do that, so I don't know much about my culture and heritage.
Technically tell me that we was born into slavery, you know what I'm saying? We was made to be slaves, that was our purpose on earth, is to serve other people. You know what I'm saying?
Do you believe that?
Not at all.
From the media to academia, hanging brothers like coats. That's why in they schools, I always take 2 sets of notes. One set to ace the test and the other set I call the truth. And when I find historical contradictions, I use the first set as proof. Proof that black youth minds are being polluted, convoluted, diluted, not culturally rooted in anything except the Western massacre. And most of us, we are scared of Africa.
The worst thing that you could call somebody when you were a child or a teenager is a black African, you know? Or why don't you go back to Africa?
We've been taught to feel ashamed of our true, you know, our true byways and mores. So,
African booty scratching.
You know?
Like it or not, you from Africa. I'm from Africa, you from Africa, you African booty scratcher.
Now, first of all, let's understand that if you're black, you're African. If you're black, you're African. You're African. You're African.
A little kid calls another little kid on the playground, "You black African," and he gets mad. Well, he gets mad out of his sense of not really knowing what it means to be African in the world.
They projected Africa always in a negative light. Jungles, savages, cannibals, nothing civilized. And naturally, it was so negative until it was negative for you and me. And you and I began to hate it. We didn't want anybody to tell us anything about Africa, and much less call us an African.
I hate fucking Africa!
And in hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. You can't hate your origin and not end up hating yourself. You can't hate Africa and not hate yourself.
Ain't there something flying in an airplane with all black pilots, all black crew? This is strange to the American Negro. We never dreamed of this. And every time we watch television, they show us Tarzan and the natives and the jungles. They never told us that the Africans were more intelligent than we are. They speak English, French, and African. We can't even speak English good.
As long as Africa is pushed to the margins of humanity as far as giving credit for what is given to humanity in terms of intellectual, scientific, philosophical, cultural presence in our lives, there will be a need for Kwanzaa. There will be a need for Kwanzaa and many other things that give us at least a ray of reality in the midst of this barrage of distortions.
Our history didn't start here in the Americas. Our history started in Africa, which is our motherland. That was the first cultural crisis, that we were not in tune and aware of our African heritage.
Because of this crisis, there are a number of individuals, a number of groups that have seen the need to create institutions that would be long-lasting. Whether we talk about those institutions or many other institutions that have been created, they have been created in response to the cultural crisis.
We found that the crisis presented us with an opportunity that we had never had before, that is to pull everybody together and get them into some constructive program.
Certainly the Black Power movement raised the question in the latter part of the 1960s and indeed said yes, in thunder, the African Americans were in a cultural crisis, hence Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa. A celebration of family, of community, and in fact, of a culture. Kwanzaa is a time when we honor our heritage, give special thanks for the harvest of good in our lives. We remember our glorious past and celebrate the best of what it means to be who we are.
If we say we have no holidays, and all mature people have holidays, then why not have a holiday that celebrates African people? Kwanzaa responds to that, you see.
So here's Kwanzaa, something that, was created for you to embrace your pride and your culture and yourself and your family in the Black community. So I'm definitely gonna take it and run with it because it's one of the very few things that shows, Black is beautiful,
For our people, the original people, for our struggle and in remembrance of those who have struggled on our behalf.
Zora Neale Hurston.
Elaine Locke.
August Wilson.
Jacob Lawrence.
Betty Shabazz.
Paul Robeson.
Bob Marley.
Patrice Lumumba.
Leopold Senghor. Marcus Garvey. Malcolm X. Frederick Douglass.
Alan Freelon.
Maya Angelou.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Denmark Vesey.
Sekou Touré.
Romer Bearden.
Franz Fanon.
Gregory Hines.
Fannie Lou Hamer taught us that there are two things we should all care about: never to forget where we came from, and always praise the bridges that carried us over. I wanted to bring that kind of feeling to the Black movement, which stressed unity of purpose, unity in struggle, unity in diversity, unity without conformity, but unity in the purpose of creating the good world and life we all want and deserve to live.
Kwanzaa centers around 7 guiding principles, known in Swahili as Nguzo Saba. On each day of Kwanzaa, a candle is lit to symbolize each of the 7 principles. The kinara holds 3 red candles, 3 green candles, and 1 black candle. The red represents our ancient and beautiful struggle for good. The green represents the hope, promise, and future that come from that struggle. And the black candle represents our people.
Without unity, there is no strength. Where there is unity, there is strength.
It's about not fighting against each other, but bringing each other up.
Once you're unified, then together you can decide what is right, what is wrong, and then respond appropriately.
It always takes a team to get some things done the best way.
I am because we are. And because we are, therefore I am. Which means that one person cannot make it alone. Take your hand, for example. You have 5 fingers, there's 5 days. Now, if you smack somebody with the 5 fingers, it won't hurt so much. But when you put them together and make that fist, bam, you have some force and more power.
The first principle of Kwanzaa is umoja, which means unity. Umoja begins in the family when we live harmonious lives with our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers.
Ronnie's the lookout, the big brother. Lauren's the inquisitive one. Uncle Steve, he's the authority. Ting Ting, she's the historian. Auntie Dallas, she's the planner. Shauna's the adventurous one. We're the Hunter family.
We've been celebrating Kwanzaa now for about 10 years. And we've done it every year since. Every single year we have celebrated Kwanzaa as a family, together.
Never missed a year.
Never missed a year.
Never missed a year.
Every year.
Not gonna miss a year.
No.
Why not?
It's become too important to our family. It has become a part of our family now. And more so now, the younger generation in our family is starting to take over and get more involved. Now we've instilled it in them to carry on the torch.
Each year, Kwanzaa brings millions of families together for 7 days of African American traditions, stories, poetry, music, and food. It is a time when we gather in the spirit of family and community to celebrate life, love, unity, and hope. The first Kwanzaa was held on December 26, 1966, in Los Angeles, California.
California happens to be the farthest place that the African slaves came when they came to America. There ain't no place else to go but the ocean when you get here. And for it to come out of here, it's like a last stand that we're going to celebrate our culture after we've been deculturalized for 400 years. And this is important for us to understand, is that we were deculturalized. Everything was stripped from us.
They take your religion, they take your way of life, they challenge every system of structure that you had in your family and your community, and they impose their shit on you.
He's not even teaching me about the future of my people. What you going to school for then, dummy? We don't even have a country. I know that. Do we have a country? He's saying it's your country, which is not your country. You have no flag, brother.
A boy last week, he was 16, told me on television. Thank God we got him to talk. Maybe somebody will start to listen. He said, I got no country, I've got no flag. Now, he's only 16 years old. And I couldn't say you do.
African Americans have always felt homeless in the United States. So we're always looking for a feeling of home. And I think Kwanzaa has done that, which is why it's been a success, because African Americans need a space that connects them to Africa.
It's our base. It's our earth. You embrace your home. You embrace the land of your birth. So it is vitally important that each one of us understand where we are from.
And what's the first thing on the table?
Makika.
Mkika. What is a mkika?
It's a straw mat.
It's a straw mat. What does the mkika represent?
The African earth.
Kwanzaa began here in the United States, but its roots run deep, as the rivers the poet Langston Hughes so eloquently illustrated in his poem, "My soul has grown deep like the rivers."
I've known rivers, ancient rivers, flowing through my veins. Dusky rivers knew my name. I've known rivers.
We want to identify with Africa because Africa suddenly was standing up. And then you can remember Malcolm X, who came and opened us up. He said, you claim you ain't left nothing in Africa, you left your mind in Africa. That's what it was. It was actually trying to identify with Africa.
We did not petition, ask, or anything for permission to celebrate it. We did it by kujichagulia, self-determination. We determined that this was good for us. We determined that we were going to celebrate it.
Kwanzaa insists on us facing our Africanness, appreciating it, and raising it to the level of sacred observance. We get our sense of self from how we assert ourselves in the world.
Nobody's gonna do it for me. And if I want it to happen, I gotta do it. If you want it to happen, you gotta do it.
That sounds a lot like self-determination.
It's definitely self-determination. I'm very self-determined, and the reality is, if you're not ruling your own destiny, if you're not writing your own script in life, you don't have a script.
The second principle of Kwanzaa is kujichagulia, which means self-determination. It honors the various ways in which we define, name, create, defend, and speak for ourselves.
The stick man on the microphone, self-contained, independent, a warrior walk alone. But I got my comrades beside me, society within a society, self-determined.
What is the requirement for your evolution? What do you require? And no one should be able to stop you from doing that.
And so self-determination in this context, in this moment, becomes even more important, more vital, because folks who are not clued in about their own histories don't really know what to draw from.
What Du Bois said and Malcolm said and all the other great teachers said, that we must use our knowledge to improve our present and enhance our future, give honor to our past. That is our task, to know our past and honor it, to engage our present and improve it, and to imagine our good future and to forge it.
The 7 days of Kwanzaa begins today.
Kwanzaa, Swahili word meaning first fruits of the harvest.
The 7 candles represent the 7 principles of
Not
Kwanzaa.
a religious observance or an alternative to Christmas.
When the family drinks from the unity cup, it reinforces their commitment to each other.
Social values. Celebration of culture.
Celebrated Kwanzaa for centuries in Africa.
Lots of times people get confused cultural construction with cultural retention. Music and dance are cultural retentions. Call and response is a cultural retention.
Somebody!
I mean, that whole history is that back and forth.
But I am somebody!
Those are things that are part of our cultural memory. Kwanzaa was not something that's a part of our cultural memory.
In other words, there's no holiday in Africa called Kwanzaa. Africa was much more of a source of inspiration.
I created Kwanzaa out of the rich and ancient fabric of African first fruit celebration.
First fruit celebrations date as far back as ancient Egypt and Nubia. Kwanzaa draws inspiration from the ancient as well as from modern celebrations.
The thing is that culture is always being created. So you have traditional culture, but you also have innovative culture.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise. High as the lifting skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing.
When James Weldon Johnson created Lift Every Voice and Sing, that became a part of our culture. But before James Weldon Johnson created it, it was not a part of the culture. So by the same token, when Maulana Karenga created Kwanzaa, it became a part of our culture, even though it had not been a part of our culture before.
Sing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
To understand Kwanzaa, you really have to understand the context that it came out of during the 60s and the Black Power era.
I think I was fortunate to be born in 1960, which was sort of like the accumulation of the effort of Black people in this country trying to seriously claim the right to be respected as human beings.
Everybody knows that all the people don't have liberties, all the people don't have freedom, all the people don't have justice, and all the people don't have power, so that means none of us do.
6 days of rioting in a Negro section of Los Angeles left behind scenes reminiscent of war-torn cities. The outbreak spread to other cities. Governor Hughes terms the rioting open rebellion.
Rebellions happen because of slavery. You have to, that should never leave your mind. Say, why you mad? Because it was a slave. If you study the slave revolts, there are hundreds of slave revolts. You know, not just Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey. Hundreds of slave revolts. You know, of burning down everything, poisoning all the cows and stuff, stealing everything and splitting. That's constant. We have never been satisfied or happy with this. So then at a certain time, the cycle goes around, and it occurs to somebody, I don't have to put up with this. I'll burn you out of here.
We were very angry, militant, and ready to go to war with the system.
Black poverty, Black alienation in urban cities was being addressed through uprisings.
The world was changing. Indians get their independence in 47, the Chinese in 49. 55 is the bus boycott. 59 is Fidel Castro. 60 is Malcolm X, 60 is SNCC. All of that's happening. 60 is Nkrumah. 62, they assassinate Lumumba. That's boom, 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 boom. So by the time 1965 comes, Watts goes up in smoke. The same year that Watts went up in smoke, they killed Malcolm X. See, somebody got a message. Somebody got a message, see.
Brothers and sisters and friends, and I see some enemies. I don't believe in fighting today in any one front, but on all fronts.
Malcolm is a significant leader, and we often talk about him, and we, more importantly, practice the principles that he espoused, you know what I'm saying? The kind of togetherness, the kind of leadership, and the kind of commitment to our people.
The third principle of Kwanzaa is ujima, which means collective work and responsibility. Through collective work and responsibility, we shape the future with our intellect, solve problems together, and build and maintain healthy communities.
It's saying it's your responsibility to take care of where you live and make it a place you're proud of.
Part of your ujima is to succeed.
I'll practice reciprocity.
I will practice reciprocity
By treating others respectfully.
by treating others respectfully
As I wish to be treated.
as I wish to be treated.
We love you, we dig you, we celebrate you, but we celebrate you because what you're gonna do for the rest of the people that are coming behind you.
I will take responsibility
I will take responsibility
for the cleanliness and general upkeep
for the cleanliness and general upkeep
of my community,
of my community,
immediate environment, and myself.
immediate environment, and myself.
In fact, I'm a black nationalist freedom fighter.
Part of that mobilization was a resurgence in the black nationalist tendency in black activism, best epitomized in the phrase black power.
We believe that black power is not only legitimate, it is necessary because we said it.
The Black Power movement was inspiration, it was motivation, it sustained us, it made us feel that we had a duty to be culturally correct for our people.
You had these pockets of men and women begin to question our reality, began to question the whole use of Negro, that we cease using Negro as a designation for who we are, and begin to call ourselves Black and African.
Mr. Clay, you're
I have a new name now. It's
Muhammad
Ali, yes.
At the time, we wanted to get rid of our slave names.
We would have had names like Lumumba and Shaka, you know what I mean, and Asantewa and all that, but the white man name was Williams, so you became, Williamson.
Most blacks had to break through their own psychological barriers, not to feel inferior about the texture of your hair or the color of your skin. All of that is changing.
So that pride was beginning to develop. And that pride developing helped us dig deeper into the earth and plant the seeds of truth. And as those seeds germinated and as they grew and came into fruition, we ate of the fruit of knowledge.
In the 1960s, we were self-determined to name ourselves, to speak for ourselves, to define ourselves, and to free ourselves. We gave our children African and African-American names. We wore afros and dashikis. Cultural centers flourished. Black art galleries appeared. Black studies emerged and redefined institutions. We told our beautiful stories on the stage, captivated audiences with our motion pictures. And in 1966, a young scholar and activist named Dr. Maulana Karenga created Kwanzaa.
The first Kwanzaa was celebrated in the context of my organization, US, and US means just us African people. And it is given that name to reinforce the communitarian values we seek to introduce and reaffirm.
Of course, many of us have been taught to celebrate Christmas, Easter, and other holidays. But let's keep in mind that we also have to begin to celebrate our own holidays.
You have to understand it was always about trying to find an African aesthetically sound way of doing things, whether it be getting married, naming a baby, or celebrating holidays.
We looked at Kwanzaa as part of the struggle to overturn white definitions for our lives.
We were coming to the end of the year and we were trying to be black. Our theme was we're just trying to be black.
The first Kwanzaa was electrifying and magical.
It was December 31st, 1966. It was on the west side of Los Angeles. It was either at somebody's house or apartment.
I didn't really know what to expect, but I know there was family there. I know there was happiness there.
Kwanzaa was a celebration to celebrate ourselves, to celebrate Black people's accomplishments. That was the purpose for Kwanzaa.
We felt good that our children had something of their own that they could participate in and be a part of.
We sat on pillows on the floor and we ate our food with our hands, which was our way of being traditionally African.
Maulana Karenga at the time gave a beautiful oratory.
Then we had the playing of the drums and then the dancing and so forth.
It was lovely. The sisters were dancing, the brothers would dance. We had the boot dances, the Zulu dances.
And we talked about our accomplishments, what we did that was right, what we did that was wrong, what we needed to improve on.
And we were talking about the family. We were talking about community. We were talking about culture.
It was like an envelope. It was like a shower. It just took me all over. And I said, that's what I was looking for, because it gave me the identity, purpose, and direction I had longed for.
And to be able to go through a ritual in the community with other like-minded people was really unheard of at the time, because before that we had no way to recognize our roots through celebration. The feeling that people had, the feeling that people left with it was a real magical time. And I was like, man, if this ever catches on, this will be tremendous.
We felt a responsibility to celebrate Kwanzaa each year, and we continue to do that.
And that's why what's so deep about Kwanzaa is that it's spreading like wildfire.
And it just took off. It took off. I mean, it just spread. 2,000 people back east were at gatherings now. We heard of enormous numbers.
Each year we just continued to bring someone in. We felt obligated to make sure that we continue to educate people.
It is time that we use Nguzu style.
We put together the Kwanzaa kit. You could mail a box and get a Kwanzaa kit with instructions.
We organized, we formed united fronts to get the information out there, and we were very successful at it. It was the only celebration in the world where Black people for 7 days are doing the same thing, thinking the same thoughts out there in the universe. The power of that, the unity of that, we took that to heart.
And it becomes a fundamental part of the movement. In fact, the movement adopts the values, the Nguzo Saba, as a fundamental unifying value system.
Teachers began to teach these African values. They were taught in these schools across the country.
And so the whole educational process involved teaching African American children about their own culture.
It was something good that we felt we had that we wanted to share. We thought it was something good for our people. So every year, new people would come and they would see it, and they, just like we felt the first time, they would connect.
We had a Kwanzaa festival at our school, and they really put the Kwanzaa words into our daily environment. We just focus on 7 principles of Kwanzaa, like Nia. You need to have a purpose to come to school. What is your purpose? And the more we learned about that, the more we use it in our daily lives.
Kwanzaa also gets a boost, especially among college students, because of the interest in Africa, the interest in Afrocentric ideas, and it's because of the Afrocentric social movement that influences things like hip-hop.
Chuck D was talking about fight the power! Fight the power! Once these things get brought to your attention, it sparks. It sparks your own learning, your own development.
Hip-hop was reflective and symbolic to be able to absorb what the community was trying to be about as far as self-identity. Kwanzaa was a great alternative for people to look at and try to figure out the roadmap of where I should go with my life or where we should go as a community. So the rap and the hip-hop community could more easily adjust to that.
But I am still thirsty.
Many veterans of the 1960s were now being published and their works were being sold in black bookstores.
We can, on the one hand, read great books on Afrocentricity, and actually we can practice Afrocentricity. How we practice it? Kwanzaa.
If you read some of the original tenets of Kwanzaa, it was buying books, it was making gifts, it was trying to stay away from that whole commercial idea.
About 28 million people around the world are celebrating Kwanzaa, as they have for more than 30 years.
It was almost 30-some years before the outside community even knew that there was a Kwanzaa.
The celebration of Kwanzaa has grown in 30 years and has different meanings for different people.
Kwanzaa also opens the door for companies to say, wait a minute, why are we excluding ourselves from this market?
You started seeing canards in Walmart, Alpha Beta. It was all a thing to make money. And one of the most dangerous things is that they would make canards that what we would call burn-ups. They didn't have safety cups. A canard is made with a certain ethos in mind. They just put wood together and stuck a candle in it and said this was a canard. Well, these weren't canards. These were candle holders, period.
It happens in every celebration. Kwanzaa is no different from all the rest. And Mother's Day and Hanukkah, all of them, there's attempts at corporate penetration. It's how we resist it.
How many of us really shop at black businesses the way that we should, the way that Kwanzaa indicates that we need to?
The fourth principle, ujamaa, means cooperative economics. Ujamaa is the practice of shared social wealth. Ujamaa promotes self-reliance in building, strengthening, and controlling the economics in our community.
How can the people earn almost $800 billion and only spend 3% of their money with each other? I mean, the biggest boycott is the black consumer on black businesses.
Ownership is critical. I tell young brothers all the time, stand on the corner talking about this is my turf. I say, well, what do you own here? You stand in the building that somebody outside this community owns. So when you own something, you take care of it.
When you spend your dollar out of the community in which you live, the community in which you spend your money becomes richer and richer. The community out of which you take your money becomes poorer and poorer.
If you put up your own stores, the money circulates and it keeps circulating, and then you become a very viable economic community, you become a very viable political community.
You know, it's like recycling black dollars. You're black, you got your money, spend it with other black merchants when you can.
We could literally put black men back to work tonight if we simply spend just 10% of our income with each other. It's very difficult to tell your youth or to transpose a feeling that you had to your youth. I mean, you tell your kids about Kwanzaa, but okay, well, my friends are celebrating Christmas, and they got the Christmas stamps, and they got the Hanukkah. Well, where does our celebration come up? And then when the stamp came out and the things came and it became more institutionalized, you could see the youth being proud. Oh, I celebrate Kwanzaa. I celebrate Kwanzaa. You can start asking, do you know anything? Yeah, I know about Kwanzaa, and feeling proud of it.
Was portraying unity, definitely pride, unity within the family, their pride in their ancestry, always with uplifted faces. Kwanzaa is a very young holiday. To have a stamp commemorating 7 days about our heritage is phenomenal to have.
You know, to see Kwanzaa visible in that manner says that Black Americans have advanced, but then you can't forget about what affects ordinary Black people on an everyday level.
Do you feel that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
The damage here along the Gulf Coast is catastrophic. There are an uncounted number of the dead tonight.
With Katrina, well, the government actions left a lot to be desired.
New Orleans was just pretty much an example, just to show that, look, this is really how the government feels about you.
Where's FEMA? Where's the man?
It unveiled the mask of what America has done for centuries.
But even in the midst of just the muck and mire of everything, the people are able to stand up and say, regardless of what it is that you've tried to do, it's up to us. How are we gonna do it? This is why the people stood up and said, you know what? I gotta help my brother. I gotta help my sister. We're the ones that have to do that,
And you see that was beauty because African Americans, they were helping each other. You saw unity there. You saw helping hands.
Churches came together, community centers. It was so many people.
It didn't matter if you weren't their child. It didn't matter if you weren't their sister. Everyone was in the saving business.
It's always the people that make the moves.
The path that they were guided by, it was guided by the principles of Kwanzaa. The spirit of Kwanzaa was really enacted during Hurricane Katrina.
Kwanzaa is about history and family and the like, and frankly, most of the families were still very traumatized about the experience that we had gone through. Most of us were homeless. Most of us were living with someone else. In 2005, we were living elsewhere. Members of the family, even within one family, immediate family, were in different places. So it just was virtually impossible to even focus on Kwanzaa. But I do think the principles were still in play.
After Katrina, it became hard because we were used to congregating together during Kwanzaa. We were used to the light of the candle. We were used to the being guided by the principles of Kwanzaa. And so after the storm, for a while, we had that sense of loss.
And for the first time in 2007, since before Katrina, we were able to celebrate Kwanzaa, and it gave us an opportunity to recapture those values that became even more important following this natural disaster.
Nia. Nia means purpose.
Nia, purpose.
With Katrina, all these principles, every last one of them was shown through people just coming and just being so welcoming and loving and just giving, and they became like family. Even though you just met these people, they were like family.
The Kwanzaa that just passed was much stronger than it has ever been because it gave us hope. To see people together again and knowing that, the years passed, everything was washed away, and we did not know that we were going to ever see each other again. So to me, it made it more meaningful, and there was purpose there.
Around me, around me, around me, around me, around me.
The fifth principle is Nia, which means purpose. Nia helps us to know who we are and where we are going.
It's listening to your inner heart and soul and really focusing on life to make your life the fullest.
I remember the first year that I celebrated Kwanzaa, it kind of gave me a purpose that was bigger than myself.
If you don't have a plan or a vision for yourself, for your family, for your wife, for your children, for your mother, for your father, and the people in your immediate circle, you're a lost man. And I don't want to be a lost man. I want to be a found man. I want to be an empowered man, a man that empowers my surrounding, that empowers my city, that empowers my nation, that empowers my country, that empowers the entire earth.
Purpose depends on how we reacquaint ourselves to the language of the earth.
When we change ourselves, we make all of this planet better. When we improve ourselves, we have the opportunity to improve the entire planet Earth.
One of the things that we have to understand about Kwanzaa is it's an environmentally conscious holiday that teaches us to respect the world in all its wonder and beauty, and that we are linked to it, that rock and river, stone and star, and human being are all linked and locked together.
So we got to conserve, we got to recycle, we got to do all of those things that are necessary to cultivate a future for our children on this planet.
And if we don't have some kind of common purpose, then we really lose out, not just on our individual gains, but on our collective gains as well.
It is at the heart of everything in its life. I mean, you have to have a purpose in life. You have to have a purpose in community. You know, even with Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is there for a purpose.
Today, Kwanzaa is the fastest growing holiday with over 40 million celebrants around the world.
Bonjour, bienvenue au Kwanzaa à Paris. Les idées véhiculées par Kwanzaa nous ont touchés, nous intéressent et nous estimons que c'est une fête qui peut aider les personnes, les Africains et les Domiens, les personnes qui viennent de la diaspora en France.
La chance, l'opportunité de connaître Kwanzaa.
Père du père du père du père du père. Et la dame, la mère de la mère de la mère de la mère et de la mère.
Kwanzaa est venu de là-bas. Nous ici, on était en mal, donc c'est ce que je pense, d'identité. Donc voir cette célébration là-bas, nous a donné aussi envie de le faire. Ceux qui savent que leur origine vient d'Afrique, donc s'inspirent aussi de là-dessus et ça leur permet de refaire un retour aux sources, même s'ils sont nés ici.
L'accent a été mis spécialement sur les enfants, tout simplement parce que nous avons espéré que par les enfants, nous allons toucher les parents, que les enfants seraient plus sensibles au message Kwanzaa.
La grand-mère, elle a encore une mère, la grand-mère de la grand-mère, elle a encore une mère, et la mère, elle a encore une mère. Et le père, il a encore un père, et le père, il a encore un père, et le grand-père, il a encore un père, et les grand-mères.
Félicitations, voilà.
Au niveau du Kwanzaa, on se rejoint parce que c'est une image positive aussi adressée aux enfants.
It's important for young people to be here so that they see that something is being done for them.
Mohindi, the corn.
Somebody said to me, Kwanzaa means progress. And I was like, wow. I started to trip when I heard that. I was like, I never put those two things together, and that takes it to another level. I think young people need to be here to understand what progress can look like.
Kwanzaa is a time where you can dialogue between young and old, and these connections are extremely important for the younger generation.
For the elders, from whom we can learn much.
One day we won't be here. So then what happens? If we don't pass it on to the next generation, then it'll be anything.
For our youth who represent the promise for tomorrow.
We introduced this youth night in which the younger people in our family have to create the whole entire program. And I remember they had the principle of creativity, and I just remember thinking, look at how creative they are.
For the creators who provide all things great and small.
I remember dancing at a lot of Kwanzaa celebrations or reciting poetry. I made this like makeke, the straw mat that's the foundation. Celebrating Kwanzaa helped me to be confident. It gave me the confidence to go up and not be afraid to express myself and to share my gifts with my community.
The sixth principle is Kumbaa, which means creativity. Kumbaa, focuses on how we use our talents, imagination, and artistic skills to create harmony and beauty in our communities.
When you think of creativity, it is a gift, but it's definitely a responsibility.
Things you put out there is gonna affect people in certain ways, you know? So whether you wanna be a role model or not, people are looking at you anyways and learning from you.
What we see when we look at social movements is its creativity, whether it is advertising in cartoons or brochures or graffiti or music that brings information to the masses.
And it becomes a source of inspiration to others, and education to others, freeing the minds of others.
We all have something about ourselves that is creative. It doesn't have to be painting, it doesn't have to be photography, it doesn't have to be anything that we generally call creative.
Kuumba, creativity. Creativity is in all of us. Creativity is how you walk, how you talk, how you think, how you act, how you breathe. Creativity is life, and life is you. And life is worth living. So I say.
This principle is celebrated on New Year's Eve and ends with an evening of dance, music, and food.
For me, Kwanzaa is a time where you can reflect on the past year and look into the new year, set goals, and get things started on the right foot.
Yeah, Kwanzaa is like renewing your annual membership, to community, to your culture, to your family, and most importantly, to yourself.
I think that's a time in the year that the year comes to a close that people just have to say, you know what, man, I'm gonna take all our love, try to put that on the table for all to share, take our similarities and bond it, and knock all the differences to the side. That's what that period is about. It's like, knock all your differences to the side, start the new year fresh, atone, and keep it moving.
Kwanzaa means access. It means access to your soul. It means access to your people. It means access to everything that touches you as an African. It means everything.
It means to believe with all your heart in people, teachers, family, and leaders, and believing that the righteousness and victory of our struggle in the past, and believing in the struggle that will happen in the future.
It is not merely a holiday. It is a statement about a people, where they were going, and where they continue to go.
The seventh and final principle is Imani, which means faith. Imani is the profound and enduring belief in all things that are of value to us as a family, community, and culture.
We have faith that we can almost achieve what was deemed to be impossible. When we have faith, we know that it kind of like sparks all those other interests like purpose, responsibility, all this, self-determination and unity. Faith is the thing that sparks all those other qualities of life off.
One of the most important cornerstones of Black struggle and resilience has been faith. And I don't just mean the strong tradition of the Black church. I mean a certain faith in humanity and dignity.
You're looking at a woman who walks by faith and not by sight. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidences of things not seen.
Faith is the thing that's going to actually motivate you just like a heartbeat. I mean, faith is the electricity of life,
We have to have faith that this is not the best that it can be. We have to have faith in our own experiences, but in the possibility of a better future.
That's why I sing, oh, 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 can't turn around. I've come this far by faith.
Which principle stands out to you the most?
All of them.
All of them.
What principle stands out to me? Every one of them, beginning with Umoja and right on down through Imani. All of them, all of the principles. Kujichagalea, Ujima, Ujima, Nia, Kumba, all of them. Every one of them. I find great spiritual energy when I think about either one of them and how they are related to us as people.
Well, we are at Abbott Park, Robert S. Abbott Park. This is the second day of the 20th annual Kwanzaa Summer Festival. And we're celebrating Kwanzaa in the summertime as an opportunity to reinforce the 7 principles amongst the people here in the community. And we just want to bring those principles forth in celebration of our youth and our families. People are generally shocked, Kwanzaa in the summertime. Right here in July, they learn about Kwanzaa. And that is just awesome. That is just awesome because bringing it to them at this time of year and then giving it a significance to say you don't just have to observe Kwanzaa in the month of December, but that these are principles that can make us better all year long.
Kwanzaa should be and is a lifestyle. It's a way of life that we should embrace in everything we do.
Kwanzaa is expressed throughout the world now by people of African heritage who want to have that cultural connectiveness.
I talk about the use of the Nguzo Saba 7 days a week. There's a school in Baltimore. The teacher, every day, she takes one of the principles and writes it on the board. And one day she said she forgot to write it on the board and the class was in chaos. And one of the little boys at the end of the class said, "Teacher, you know why the day has been so messed up? Because we didn't do the Nguzo Saba."
I get up in the morning and I read the Nguzo Saba every morning because that's my foundation for the day, whatever I am going to do.
I identify for sure with all the 7 principles. These are principles of what we're supposed to be doing 365, you know what I mean? And all our business and how we treat each other and how we look at the world.
It reinforces African tradition, where once a year we can make this observation, much like our ancestors did in Africa when they had the harvest celebrations.
How many times have the parents sat down at the end of the year and asked their child, how do you feel about your life? How do you feel about what's going on? What would you like to see for the next year? Through Kwanzaa and through the 7 principles, you teach the next generation to elevate themselves.
See a man?
Be a man.
See a man?
Be a man.
Princess.
To the queen.
Princess.
To the queen.
It's your world. Your time to tell the world how you feel about this world and what you're gonna do for yourself. It's really up to you to save your own self.
It represents to me longevity. It represents to me a sense of stability. So when I think of it, that's what I think of. I think the black candle is like that. We are like that. As a people, we are like that. Durable, a sense of continuity and longevity. I mean, that's us. That's the African people.
While the first principle of Kwanzaa, Umoja, brings us closer and harnesses our strength, the last principle, Imani, inspires us and sustains our togetherness. Let us have faith in ourselves, in our Creator, in our mothers and fathers, in our grandmothers and grandfathers, in our elders, and in our future, knowing that we are more than keepers of our brothers and sisters. We are our brothers and sisters.
sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Till victory is won. Lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing.
Yo, unity is for you and me. You see, we come together beautifully. Love is the only way for you to be. Umoja for all of my soldiers, and I'm a believer in Kujichagulia. That means self-determination for all the nation. We've been so patient for education and medication, and we don't forget about them reparations. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Your community needs your ability, cause your utility is their fertility. You can go into ministry or to dentistry, but you don't need to sip Hennessy and hip. Go to Tennessee, get a degree from Fisk. Come back to communities that raise black fists, and tell all of your brothers and sisters about this. Umoja, Ujima, Kujichagulia, Ujama, Kuumba, Imani, Nia, the black Umoja, Ujima, Kujichagulia, Ujama, Kuumba, Imani. Yo, Kuumba, creative energy is within me. Since I was an infant, I've been blessed infinitely. I told you my inspiration is plenty, and creativity is part of my identity. And Imani, faith in God, friends and mommy, pops, brother and sister, faith in everybody. And you can call me whenever you need me. My whole family, yo, please believe me. Ujama, cooperative economics, sorta like Kwanzaa, got me hooked on phonics. Mixed with hip hop, y'all got no idea. Listen to my lyrics, y'all can know my nia. My purpose is to make something of worth. It's to reach deep below the surface. So I take words to new meaning, sorta like a thesaurus. Got me speaking Swahili, sorta like in the chorus. Umoja.